Any moment, Deanna, we're seeing a few snowflakes here in Des Moines. A blizzard warning going into effect for much of Iowa tomorrow, up to a foot of snow, and then those bitterly cold temperatures. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis wrapping up an event here this evening just outside of Des Moines a few minutes ago. Some of his supporters leaving as we speak. This is the final sprint and the final polling just 4 days from the Iowa caucuses. The latest average giving former President Donald Trump a dominant lead, more than 30 points headed into Monday night. This afternoon, while Trump was in court, his son Donald Trump Jr. was campaigning just outside of Des Moines. Trump himself will be back in Iowa Saturday. Tonight, part of the final blitz. A win in Iowa carries with it huge momentum into New Hampshire and ultimately the Republican nomination in Milwaukee. You're out here, it's cold. What are the campaign's biggest concerns headed into Monday?
Listen, I think that people just assume that there's such a big lead that a lot of people just don't show up. It's supposed to be -4, the apathy. And I sort of feel that like the other campaigns are pushing that notion. Like, oh, don't worry, it's fine. They're pushing out the media polls that have you up by margins that have never happened in Iowa before. Now, I believe that if everyone actually shows up, we win by those margins, but people actually need to show up. So that's my only concern going into Monday.
So, Matt, you're learning some campaigns are already making changes tonight with that incoming storm.
Yeah, Deanna, the message from Ron DeSantis this evening to his supporters: no matter the weather on Monday, negative temperatures, get out to caucus. Nikki Haley tonight, her campaign canceling all in-person events tomorrow, holding virtual town halls and virtual meetings with her supporters. A major crink in the plans for these campaigns headed into these final days and the final weekend. We are with the campaigns throughout the weekend. We've met some Wisconsin connections already along the way. We're going to have all of that for you throughout our newscast on 12 News, and also coming up on a very special edition of Upfront from Iowa on Sunday, guys.
Matt Smith live tonight in Des Moines, Iowa.
Breaking news from Milwaukee Public Schools. School board members take action to address a budget shortfall. 12 News' Erica Finke is live at MPS headquarters. Erica, the board is putting a $252 million referendum on the spring ballot.
And that referendum was one of 3 options considered by the board tonight. And the board blaming I guess the board actually blames a lack of state funding in part for the $200 million budget shortfall it faces next year. So the referendum will ask voters for extra money phased in over the next 4 years. And for homeowners, it's estimated to cost $215 per $100,000 of assessed property value during the first year. District leaders say taxes would stay flat the following years. The board says without a referendum, it'll have to cut staff, reduce mental health resources, and specialty programs. People had their chance to voice their opinions tonight before the vote.
I don't want to see those cut. The community I have at my school, the community I have with my classmates, and the community that's formed there, seeing that possibly wiped away because we don't have the money for it is really depressing.
I know people with dissenting opinions are fighting to put students first. The question is, does the administration put students first in their actions prior to this referendum? Thank you.
So, Erica, walk us through what happens next.
So this referendum question will appear on the spring election ballot, which is in April. And so then it'll be up to the voters to decide whether or not they want this to go through.
Erica Finke live at MPS headquarters with that breaking news. Erica, thank you. An update to a police standoff in Milwaukee that lasted for several hours today. It happened at an apartment building near 64th and Florist. Earlier today, police said an armed 17-year-old barricaded himself after making threats to his family and law enforcement. Tonight, police tell 12 News officers executed a search warrant, but they didn't find the suspect. The search continues. A playoff rivalry renewed in Texas. The Packers facing the Cowboys this weekend.
12 Sports Director Dario Melendez is in Dallas tonight with a look at the tough task ahead for the Green and Gold.
We are in Dallas, right outside of AT&T Stadium, where a little over a decade ago, the Packers won Super Bowl 45 when Mike McCarthy was the leader of the pack. But now he is the head honcho of the team that the Packers will be facing on Sunday in the wild card round, the Dallas Cowboys. And McCarthy has the Cowboys playing at an extremely high level, with Dallas being top 5 in total offense, total defense, passing offense and passing defense, scoring offense and scoring defense. Safe to say, the Packers know they have a tough task ahead of them on Sunday.
We obviously know we have a great challenge in front of us going down to Dallas against a team that they're 8-0 at home this year. They seem to be playing their best ball at home. And, I mean, they're littered with Pro Bowlers all over their roster. It's going to be a big week for us.
The Packers might have also received some big news on the injury front, which I'll have more of coming up in sports. In Dallas, Dario Melendez, WISN 12 Sports.
Monday night on WISN 12, it's the defending NFC champion Eagles on the road in Tampa taking on the Buccaneers. Coverage starts at 7, followed by 12 News right after the game. Well, the big storm is closing in.
And Mark, this storm looks much worse than what we saw on Tuesday.
Yeah, it certainly does, because it's got some differences that we didn't have on Tuesday. We're going to talk about the lightning you already see here, how that will impact our storm coming up.
And breaking news ahead of the winter storm, Milwaukee Public Schools just announced it's closing tomorrow. That is something that we are having here that's coming in. We'll have more updates coming up after the break. Plus, we are following ESPN here and the Emmys fraud, the investigation into what exactly went wrong and why the sports network was forced to give back dozens of trophies.
And it's holiday time at Fiserv Forum. Drew Holiday back in Milwaukee tonight for the first time since the Bucks traded him to Boston. The not so warm welcome for his Celtics on the court tonight. Developing tonight, U.S. and British military strikes overseas.
U.S. officials say both militaries bombed more than a dozen sites used by the Iranian-backed Houthi militants in Yemen. The military targets including logistical hubs, air defense systems and weapons storage, and launching locations. Since November, the Houthis have launched attacks in the Red Sea, disrupting one of the most vital shipping routes in the entire world. The group claiming it is in retaliation for the Israel's war against Hamas.
From News Chopper 12, exclusive video showing an SUV and a Milwaukee police squad car crash into a northwest side creek. The scene this morning near 45th and Congress.
I hear the sirens and I'm like, there's no way somebody's trying to run from the police as slick as it is. And it was. So it's a police chase. That could have been their life. That could have been the police officers' lives.
Police say the SUV in the creek is tied to a 7-year-old's abduction downtown last night near 2nd and Wells. In that incident, police say someone stole a running car with the child inside. That thief abandoned the car and the child a short time later near Fiserv Forum. The child was not hurt. But police say the thief took off in a different vehicle. It's not clear if that vehicle is the one that crashed into the creek today.
I plead with you to stop ignoring the carnage and death created by reckless driving and the criminals like my daughter's killer who turn automobiles into killing tools.
The family of a pregnant Wauwatosa woman killed by a driver fleeing police pleads for tougher sentences. Aaron Mogensen's father spoke at a hearing in Madison today on a bill to establish mandatory prison for drivers who kill or injure someone while fleeing police. You can read more about the bill. Just search "fleeing penalties" on the free 12 News app.
A public memorial will be held for Herb Kohl tomorrow at Fiserv Forum. The former Bucks owner died last month after a brief illness. The longtime U.S. Senator and businessman is credited for saving the Bucks from leaving Milwaukee not once, but twice. Tomorrow's service is scheduled for noon. Right now on the 12 News mobile app, Herb Kohl's legacy from the perspective of lifelong friends, including former MLB Commissioner Bud Selig.
Let's go back to the storm that's moving this way. It's looking more and more like it'll cause a lot of trouble tomorrow.
And this is what we were talking about. Breaking news, MPS canceling classes for tomorrow. Mark, it's not surprising that they went that route. Actually, we were in fact surprised that it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, and I think it's the right call. I know what happened on Tuesday. This is different than Tuesday. I'm going to explain why I think this is going to be that much worse than what we saw. And I would not be surprised if we get upgraded to a blizzard warning. We haven't had one in a long time, especially in Milwaukee County. Sustained winds, 35 miles per hour or greater. Visibility below a quarter mile. Conditions have to last like that at least 3 hours. I think all of those criteria are likely to be met for tomorrow. So we'll wait and see if we do get upgraded to that. The last blizzard warning in our viewing area was back in 2018, the last one in Milwaukee County. And we all remember this one well if you're around for this. This is the Groundhog Day blizzard. Of course, that was a doozy. Do I think it's going to be a duplicate of the Groundhog Day blizzard? I do not, but I do think it's going to be bad for tomorrow. So right now, winter storm warning in effect. Starts at 6 a.m. tomorrow, goes until noon on Saturday. So it's going to last a while. Even when the snow is done, it's going to be blowing around because we're going to have so much wind. Let's get the big picture here. Look at all the lightning here. But the lightning here is rather interesting because the low pressure center is out here. It just shows that there's a whole lot of lift going on with this storm. But what does that mean for you? It means we didn't get enough lift on Tuesday, and so things stayed more rain if you're right along the lakeshore. With additional lift, we create cooling aloft that comes down to the surface. I think we have a much better chance of staying mainly snow this go around. All right, Futurecast. 7 o'clock. We're already getting some snow all around southeastern Wisconsin. Morning commute is not going to be fun. It's going to be better than the evening commute. Look at the snow continuing at noon. Maybe a break at some point, but I don't think we see many. Still heavy snow, and the wind really picks up as the day goes on. It won't be that windy right away in the morning, but it ramps up in a hurry as we head throughout the day. I would not be surprised, 45, 50 mile per hour wind gust with snow falling sideways, and that is going to cause additional problems throughout the night. And then we still have this continuing into Saturday, just not as much snow. We're still going to have the blowing snow, though. Timeline, 2 a.m., probably closer to 4 a.m. We'll start to see some of that snow. Could still be a little mix along the lakeshore. That's looking less likely. Snow continues during the morning hours, getting really heavy in the afternoon, blizzard-like or blizzard conditions as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours. So if you can avoid travel during that time, I would do so. If you could just avoid travel completely for tomorrow, I would do so. Look at the wind. Winds gusting 45 miles per hour. This is going to move that snow around. The snow starts heavy and wet, but it changes with time. The whole area, even along the lakeshore, 6 to 10 inches. Wouldn't be surprised if we get some spots that are greater than 10 inches as we get some lake enhancement. About 1 to 3 by noon, 3 to 5 inches between noon and 6, 1 to 3 after that. So it's really a long process here where we're getting all that accumulating snow. There are still concerns. Lake Michigan's impact, it's still warm, but I don't think it's going to be that big of an impact. Could still get a little mix. How much lake enhancement? That's still a question, and blowing and drifting is going to be a problem. Important takeaways, power outages are possible. Worst travel times about 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday. 9 a.m. tomorrow to 6 a.m. on Saturday. It's a long time. Please clear your driveways and sidewalks. Get it away from your car because it's going to get cold. So shoveling is not going to be fun. Help your neighbors out. And why do we have to get rid of the snow that's coming? Because it's going to get ridiculously cold. 22 degrees below zero for the wind chill on Sunday morning with temperatures in the single digits. So alert day Friday and on Saturday. Not a lot of additional snow on Saturday, but it's going to be blowing all over the place. And then it's just really cold. Below zero. Here we go. High temperatures only in the single digits. It warms up to a whopping 13 by next Thursday. Make sure you stay with us throughout the day tomorrow with Weather Watch 12. We'll be watching it closely. We'll be right back.